If you've been watching the markets, you've seen it. There is this phenomenal surge happening with Alphabet.
Mhm.
I mean, if you needed proof that the AI war is back on, this is it. Google's parent company has been the best performer of the Magnificent Seven lately.
And it's not just a small jump.
No, not at all. They are seriously knocking on the door of the $4 trillion valuation club. This feels like more than just momentum. It feels like a fundamental strategic reassessment by the market.
It absolutely is. And capital is moving toward a very specific investment logic. We're calling it the Google chain.
The Google chain, okay.
And that's our mission for today's deep dive. We're going to unpack that logic, why this surge is happening now, and what specific tech advancements are signaling to investors that Google has, well, built the industry's most defensible moat.
And the sources we've looked at are just packed with these signals. We're talking about their newest foundation model, Gemini 3.
Right.
The imminent arrival of their 7th generation tensor processing unit, the TPU. And then there are these two projects that honestly sound like science fiction.
I know what you mean.
Real progress in AI image generation with a platform called Nano Banana Pro.
A great name.
And an agent platform called Google Anti-Gravity. It feels like Google isn't just accelerating anymore. They're, I don't know, achieving escape velocity.
They are. And those project names, as colorful as they really represent applications that are only possible because of the system that's underneath them.
Ah. Okay.
And that brings us right to the core investment thesis here.
Mm-hmm.
Google's full-stack AI layout. Goldman analyst Eric Sheridan highlights this perfectly. He notes that Google has secured a position in every single critical layer of the AI industry chain.
So we're not just talking about a great model like Gemini or just a great cloud service.
No.
This is true vertical integration.
Precisely. It stretches from the bottom layer chips and model development through the cloud infrastructure that, connects everything.
Right.
All the way up to the consumer and enterprise apps like Search and Cloud that actually generate that enormous revenue. And the key takeaway for investors is that this is no longer a theoretical advantage. It is translating into, and I'm quoting here, actual financial returns.
They control the input, the process, and the output.
You got it.
Okay, let's unpack this full technical loop because this is the moat. This is why everyone is paying such close attention.
Let's do it.
So the loop spans the chips, the custom TPUs, then the high-speed network that links all those chips together.
The OCS, yeah.
The enormous model, Gemini, and then the high-margin applications on top. Search, advertising, cloud, that's the whole system. It's incredibly powerful.
And what's fascinating is seeing how the competition is reacting to that system. We saw this really rare admission from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman.
Oh, this is interesting.
He admitted publicly to a temporary economic headwind. And he said OpenAI is facing the fiercest competition since founding.
And he pointed right at Google.
He pointed right at this full chain capability. He specifically named the TPU chip plus the Gemini model, plus the cloud infrastructure. He's basically saying their vertical integration is his company's #1 challenge.
That is the ultimate signal. When your biggest rival says the reason they're struggling is because you built a fortress they can't breach,
Yeah.
you know you're doing something right.
Exactly.
So if we connect this back to strategic investing, it seems like major figures are buying in because they see Google as something much bigger than a tech stock. They're viewing it as the new era's essential infrastructure.
Or a utility.
A utility, yeah.
And that analogy of an indispensable utility like water or electricity or gas, it's spot on. Once businesses and society start running on this platform, the switching costs become astronomically high. But to maintain that status, you need this absolute unwavering commitment to investing in infrastructure.
Which brings us to Google's internal compute philosophy.
Yeah.
And it is aggressive, to put it mildly.
That's an understatement. I mean, look at the forecasts from Amin Vadat. He's Google's head of AI infrastructure. His projections they're radical.
What did he say?
He states that the company must double its AI computing power every 6 months.
Every 6 months. The scale of that is almost impossible to comprehend.
And that's just the short term.
Yeah.
He also said they need to achieve an additional 1,000 times growth in compute power
1,000 times.
within the next 4 to 5 years, just to handle the demand for AI services he sees coming. It's a truly gargantuan forecast.
So this raises a big question, one that I'm sure a lot of investors are asking. Is that even feasible? And what if that demand doesn't show up exactly as predicted? Aren't they at risk of, over-investing?
Vadat addressed that directly. He basically told the market that the real danger is in underinvestment, not overinvestment. He sees that future demand as completely inevitable.
He's all in.
All in. And that conviction is only possible because of the second critical factor in the Google chain, its financial resilience.
And that's the bedrock. This is where the contrast with competitors like, say, OpenAI becomes so stark and so attractive for the capital markets.
Just look at the numbers. Google, even at a massive $3.5 trillion valuation, generated over $70 billion in free cash flow in the last 4 quarters alone.
$70 billion.
Right.
And free cash flow, just to be clear, is the cash left over after paying all expenses and all capital expenditures.
Exactly. It's the fuel for building all this massive infrastructure.
It's self-funding on a scale that's almost unheard of.
Right. Now, you contrast that with a company like OpenAI. Analysts expect them to consume over $100 billion in capital in just the next few years.
So they have to keep going out and raising these massive rounds of funding.
Constantly. Google doesn't. This robust self-funding capability means they can execute on Vedat's radical compute forecast without worrying about where the next check is coming from. Yeah. That financial security, that scale, it's arguably the biggest single factor pulling investors into the Google chain.
That solid foundation becomes an anchor for the whole ecosystem.
Right.
And that anchor pulls a very profitable chain of hardware and service providers along with it. So let's get into those hardware winners.
Okay.
Because this is where the success of the TPU and Gemini translates into actual tangible contracts.
And we can start with the custom chips. You have to look at Broadcom. They are Google's essential partner, helping to design and manufacture the TPUs, which are now, as we said, in their 7th generation.
And Broadcom's stock surge, that recent 11.1% jump in a single day.
That was a direct result of the market waking up to how profitable this relationship is.
So instead of relying on off-the-shelf NVIDIA chips like almost everyone else, Google is doubling down on ASICs, these application-specific integrated circuits with Broadcom.
Yep.
Why is that custom efficiency so vital right now?
It's about cost and complexity.
Yeah.
Analysts like Jefferies Blaine Curtis say that ASIC production is becoming more significant in 2026 and 2027, especially as the models become more complex, multimodal.
Right.
A custom chip is just more efficient for the specific tasks Gemini needs to do. And this collaboration goes way back to 2016. It's a long-term strategy that is really paying off now.
Okay, so beyond the chips themselves, the speed of the connection between them is critical. So next in the chain is networking, specifically OCS. For our listeners, what is OCS and why is it so important here?
So think of OCS, or optical switching, as the ultimate high-speed traffic control system for a huge data center. It uses light and actual physical movement to route massive amounts of data between thousands of TPUs, and it does it incredibly quickly. It's one of Google's core proprietary advantages.
And the market for this is growing fast, mainly because of Google's demand.
Absolutely. OCS shipments are predicted to exceed 50,000 units a year by 2029. And while Google is the main driver now, you can bet competitors like AWS, Azure, and Meta are watching very closely and are expected to follow.
Which brings us to the suppliers. We found 2 key companies here, Lumentum and Coherent. What's their role?
Well, Lumentum is key because they control the supply of critical high-end optical components. They're actually reporting a widening supply gap, a scarcity.
Which gives them pricing power.
Exactly, they can use targeted pricing. Needham is calling them a key supplier in this whole AI optical race. It's a great position to be in.
And Coherent is focused more on just sheer scale, is that right?
That's right. Coherent is responding to this demand incredibly aggressively. They're planning to double their specialized laser manufacturing capacity within the next year.
Wow.
They're innovating on the production side, building new facilities, and they've recorded a record volume of orders for 800G and 1.6T transceivers. And get this, their customer demand forecasts now extend all the way out to 2028.
That's incredible visibility.
It is.
Finally, there's the actual fiber optic cable that ties this global network together. And we found some fascinating things with Yangtze optical fiber and cable.
Yeah, they're the market leader in traditional fiber. But the real story is their position in something called hollow core fiber.
Okay, what's that?
It's a new type of fiber that uses air as the core instead of glass.
Air.
Air. This allows for a 47% increase in speed and a huge reduction in latency. And they're one of only 2 global players who can make it. Google is already placing testing orders with them.
So they're pushing the very limits of the physical infrastructure?
They are. And we're also seeing companies like High Cloud Technology supplying key connecting modules for all of this.
Okay, so that covers the deep infrastructure layer. Now let's pivot to the software side. All this hardware power results in better models. Our sources say Gemini 3 is now outperforming rival models from OpenAI and Anthropic in key academic reasoning tasks. How does that translate to wins for their partners?
It creates a confidence effect. I mean, it's simple. If Google Cloud is running the demonstrably superior model, developers and big companies want to build on that platform.
Right.
And that directly benefits the software vendors and service providers that partner up with Google Cloud.
Can you highlight a couple of those key software relationships?
Sure, look at Adobe. Their entire generative AI strategy is deeply interwoven with Google. Their creative tools are leveraging Gemini's power,
Okay.
or Salesforce. Their close collaboration means their huge customer base gets immediate access to Gemini's performance right inside their existing workflows. And then there's Palo Alto Networks, securing all of this increased traffic on Google Cloud.
So every dollar Google spends on its own infrastructure, on TPUs, on the network, it becomes a force multiplier for every company that builds on its cloud.
It's a powerful, virtuous cycle. The consensus view is that Google is just best positioned to achieve a truly closed-loop AI ecosystem.
The TPU, the model, the applications, the data, all of it.
All of it. They're set to lead the industry into this positive, self-reinforcing investment growth reinvestment cycle that very few, if any, competitors can match. The cost of entry is just too high now.
And to wrap up, we can circle right back to the market's reaction. A Goldman trader, Mike Wilson, he summed it up perfectly. He said the market was wrong before. It was mispricing the huge progress Google has made on Gemini and its infrastructure.
He's not wrong.
The combined strength of that integrated hardware, the advanced models, and, crucially, the self-funding capability, it makes the Google chain an extremely attractive risk-reward proposition right now.
And this leaves you, the listener, with a really key question to consider. The sources revealed that Meta is already thinking about buying Google's TPUs for its own data centers.
Interesting.
So if Google's vertically integrated efficiency is so high that it forces other major developers, even huge ones like Meta who are focused on software, to buy their infrastructure from Google, what does that say about the long-term viability of anyone who isn't integrated?
Will Google's dominance force everyone else to either partner with them or become infrastructure builders themselves just to compete on cost and speed?
That's the ultimate catfish effect Google is causing in the industry. It's forcing everyone else to step up their game in a massive way.